Welcome to Strange Paths, a podcast where we measure choose your own adventure style stories. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Megan.
I don't like this game that you play.
What game?
I don't like it. I've already talked about it and made fun of you mercilessly.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Then I guess there's no point in talking about it anymore. It's settled.
Yes.
And I guess I won because I'm still doing it.
That's how that works.
Right. So today, I have a story for us
Woo!
of my
Yay.
own creation.
Is it called Bird Story?
No, it is not. My story is called Heading Back Home.
Wow. Is it about, like, constructing a paper that you're typing? So heading is a pun?
No, it's not like... I mean, I'm not that into Strunk and White to make a whole story based off of...
Yes, you are.
No.
Don't
You're all
lie.
screaming about it.
Yeah. He was like, that's not MLA!
No, it's not about that.
Okay. What's it about?
Well, we could find out.
I want to hear a synopsis first.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding,
Well, it's kind
please
of a
don't.
coming-of-age
No,
tale.
You're right.
About a young boy, you know...
Are you still going? Just read
What?
this.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right, let's get started then. With summer coming to a close, you've been spending as much time as you can outside before school starts back up again. At the moment, you've managed to busy yourself with the all-too-important task of tossing a ball as hard as you can into the air, squinting as you try to seek it out from the sunlight. Roar! A voice bellows nearby, causing you to jump. The ball bounces away before resting a few feet from where you stand. You look towards the source of the interruption, your older sister Corey, as she begins to laugh. Real smooth, mammal. Maybe you should go make friends before you go blind from staring at the sun.
I like the name choice is very 90s.
What do you mean?
Corey for a girl.
Is that a 90s name?
Yeah, I
for a
feel
girl?
like it would.
All right. Megan doubts it.
Megan's face says
I
shady.
don't think I've ever known a girl named Corey.
It just feels like super goosebumpsy to me for some reason,
Okay.
which I like.
Okay. Real smooth, mammal. Maybe you should make friends before you go blind from staring at the sun. Otherwise, you might go extinct. Before you can think of a better response than kicking her in the shins, she stomps off in her heavy hiking boots with her wrists pulled up to her chest. Every few steps, she dips her torso forward and cranes her head from side to side. Corey's been this way all summer, ever since she started checking out dinosaur books from the library. Mom and Dad have been super proud of her, but never pay attention to what she actually checks out since her AR reading score has skyrocketed.
Oh my god. See, it is 90s. Do they still do that?
AR? I have no idea.
I loved it.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really did enough. Like, I liked reading and stuff, but I would always get distracted by rollerblading. So I didn't get that many points.
I just remember I had a lot of friends that wouldn't read the books and then they would just go take the quiz and usually pass them.
Yeah. That too.
So, you know. Deeming her a lost cause as a sister, you pick up the ball and decide to head back inside. You manage to pass your dad on the porch without getting his attention. Instead, he is engrossed in today's paper. The date along the front reads August 12th, 1968. You can't see the particular article he's reading, but it must be gripping. You open the screen door to the house, but before you enter, a rumbling sound has caught your attention. The booming reverberates from far away, but you can tell it's getting closer. The ground begins to vibrate beneath the house. Sensing trouble, your dad quickly jumps up, dropping the newspaper as well as a copy of a strange magazine you don't recognize with letters in another language.
Oh my god.
The cover features a dollhouse covered in snails. The snails themselves are dressed in little bonnets like a newborn baby would wear. Before you can ask about the magazine, your dad is directing you to stand in the doorframe.
You have to stop because we have to acknowledge baby
That's so
snails at
cute.
home.
Oh, babysnailsatHome.com. I forgot.
Yeah. Whenever we were teenagers, Paul was like trying to come up with a band name. And we were like, what about Baby Snails at Home? And he did not choose that.
I did not.
So
No.
Do you remember the website
No.
that I wanted to make?
I don't remember.
BabysnailsatHome.com.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember
just,
what
like-
you talked about for it.
It's just like an interactive thing. Like you go into the baby snail's house and their mom's gone to work. So you just have to like feed them popsicles and help them choose their outfits and stuff.
That should happen. Paul, you're a computer boy now. Can you make that happen for us?
Yeah.
No.
Why? You can't make us a website?
I can make you a
Snails at
website,
home.
but I can't make like all the assets for
All right,
it.
well, I can do that.
They don't
Okay,
have
so
arms.
in
They
the
need you
future-
to hold the popsicles.
Look for babysnailsatHome.com because we're going to make that.
Oh,
We're
okay.
probably not going to make that.
All right. So your dad just told you to stand in the doorframe.
Yeah.
Margaret, it's an earthquake. Your dad yells into the house. Moments later, the two of you are joined by your mother, a worried look spreading across her face like a snail's slime trail left across a toy crib. The entire house is shaking now, and you hear the furniture rattle inside. Where's your sister? Where's Corey? Your mother asks. Unsure what to tell her as you feel stricken with panic, you simply point to the field nearby where both of you were playing. As you point, you feel a thud in your chest as a thunderous crack splits across the field, forming a narrow chasm running parallel to the fence.
Oh, God.
Thick plumes of smoke begin billowing out of the rift in deep reds and grays. Looking to your parents for reassurance, you find none. Your mom looks as though she could cry at any moment, and your dad's usually stoic visage has been robbed of its sternness. The snail magazine slides off the porch, and you notice your dad seems to look a little calmer now, despite the continued natural disaster.
He doesn't want you to know that he's reading that magazine. Why? He should be proud.
I don't know. Abruptly, you're struck on the head from above. Blinded by the pain, your vision goes dark and you pass out. When you wake up, you're lying in the back seat of the car as it races away from the house. Your dad is focused on the road while your mom sobs quietly. From what you can tell, between bouts of shooting pain across your temples, the earthquake has stopped, but smoke continues to rise in the distance. What happened? Why are we leaving? Where's Corey? You ask as your mom's sobs grow louder. Son, something must have happened to your sister. She must have been changed by the smoke. Her arms were stuck up to her chest, and she kept stooping low as she moved towards us like some damned beast. I had to do something. I had to stop her from... She's gone now. He trails off as the car speeds away.
Did he kill Corey? She's a dinosaur.
Why don't they know that she's into that?
She would like it. Why would he?
He's been doing it all summer.
20 years later.
Oh.
Leaving the hotel room, you find your way to a taxi waiting out front. As the driver takes you to your destination, a news story on the radio conveniently discusses the quake from 20 years ago. Numerous reports from parents came in that day, claiming their children had been affected by the strange smoke plumes pouring out of the earth. As a result, many had become what could only be described as dino-human hybrids. The ensuing panic led to several states being evacuated and cordoned off as quarantine zones. No human has been allowed to re-enter the space, and orders have been given to National Guard members on patrol to protect the border at all costs. Reaching your destination, you get out and meet the other members of your team. Together, the four of you comprise a newly appointed government task force, the Federal Regulatory Assessors of Prehistoric Seismic Incidents, or FRAPSI, has been tasked with performing a risk assessment for reclaiming the Dino Madrid zone. Your navigator offers 2 points of entry to the DMZ. A riverbank to the north, where radiant readings spotted signs of life a few months ago, or a heavily forested area to the south, which still has active smoke columns. You will be sent alone while they collect data and support you remotely. If you choose to go to the northern riverbank, then turn to page 8. If you choose the forest to the south, turn to page 4.
I love the Northern Riverbank.
Yeah, I'm feeling some riverbank action.
Can we wear cute little outfits?
Are we? What
like
kind
a
of
beach
outfits
day?
are we wearing?
It's like
Yeah.
tactical gear.
No, I want to be wearing like a beach hat and like sunglasses and stuff.
I want a glittery jumpsuit.
I want-
Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Paul, gold.
You know, you guys
Paul.
can do this on your own time.
No, this is important. We have to get into it.
So we're going to the
I'm
northern
just sitting here
riverbank.
dreaming about what beach outfit I'm wearing.
Arriving at the riverbank by midday, it becomes clear the water is going to be tough to cross. The current moves rapidly, and it's difficult to tell just how deep the river runs. As you step towards the bank, your foot slips out from under you, and you fall headlong into the water.
What a loser.
Yeah.
I like when people fall.
Waves crash around you, and your pack is carried away by the current as you toss and tumble along. Gasping for breath as your body is ragdolled along the twists and eddies, you suddenly have the wind knocked out of you as you come to a stop. Checking your surroundings, you appear to be beached upon a beaver dam being built along the river on the opposite side.
Beavers?
Looking over, an angry beaver chatters his teeth at you before scurrying away. That's not the sound he makes.
Is he yellow or is he brown?
It's probably brown.
Yes, he's strangely attractive for a cartoon beaver.
Is he cool?
Or does
Does he mispronounce words like natural?
Natural. Oh, man.
Anyway. Dragging yourself out of the river, you lay on the bank for a few minutes to regain your composure before assessing your current situation. No pack means no food, no filtered water, no survival gear, no communication equipment, and no thermal underwear.
My God, you suck.
Is there spam?
You check your pockets to find your ID card, a notepad and pen, a couple of chocolate-flavored protein bars, and a pocket knife.
I need...
Looking back towards the other side of the bank, you let out a long sigh and decide to push ahead since you can't even contact your team at this point. Taking out your notepad and pen, you begin to take diligent notes like a good Harriet the Spy, and follow the riverbank in search of any signs of ancient life.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Wait, what?
Shut up.
Can I tell everyone?
Yes.
Well, I read Stephanie's diary when she was little.
I was so young, guys.
She wrote in the diary that she was Harriet the Spy, and like something she spied on.
This is so embarrassing. Like, we
really
had
funny.
watched Harriet the Spy recently, and I was really into it, and so I wrote a diary entry as if I was Harriet the Spy because I hated myself and wished I was someone else. And Megan read it 'cause she was the worst sister ever.
Yep.
So everybody knows my secrets.
Yeah.
All my secrets are
I really
on
like
tape.
Harriet the Spy, too.
Yeah, but did you write as Harriet the Spy and have your sister read it and make fun of you for
I
it?
did not.
Okay, then you can't know my pain.
Oh.
All right. The trek is uneventful at first, with your mind mostly preoccupied with recording what little wildlife you do see. However, as you follow the river through a bend, you begin to hear a strange sound from a thicket of trees nearby. "Hey!" a gruff voice calls out. "This is a squirrel or something, cheap. I've got lots of delicious snails. They're all dressed up and slimy. You should come over here, man-person," the voice continues. Well, what should you do?
Yeah, go.
If you decide to walk over to the trees, turn to page 9. If you think it might be a trap, turn to page 10.
I don't even care.
Do the snails have bonnets on? Because I have kind of a thing for that.
Megan's more discerning than me.
Do we need to rock, paper, scissors?
No,
No.
do you want to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Really? You think it might be safe? Okay. Well, you walk over to the tree line. Right as you step into the shade of the nearest tree, you hear laughter that continues for about 10 seconds before a heavy net is thrown over you, forcing you to the ground. A few large men tumble from the trees, and one stands over you with a small club. Moments later, you're knocked out.
Like a
Awaking,
nightclub?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how small?
Awaking to an all too familiar fog, you find yourself hogtied within a small gathering of people. Each of them eye you distrustfully, but none of them speak. They all look relatively normal, though. Nothing at all like the various artist depictions that line the facilities back home. Perhaps these are some natives who have managed to survive the hybrids for all these years. Their clothes seem to agree with your hypothesis, as they look like a mishmash of tattered fabrics and crudely put together armor made of various everyday materials. On their feet, various raised shoes cover metal prints hidden underneath. After a few more moments of silence, the group suddenly parts and a woman steps forward. The woman has a long headdress made of feathers, severed ponytails, and various colored strips of leather.
Oh my god, that sounds awesome.
You can tell by the deference given by the others that she's definitely in charge, but you're more concerned about the long claws fashioned to each of her fingers. She pulls her hands up to her chest and cranes her head over your body. After a few sniffs, she sits up suddenly and pauses. The crowd around you is silent. "Mammal," she announces to the crowd. The group recoils, a few in hushed whispers. A young man amongst the crowd faints. One of them, however, a burly large man with a dry mouth and square features, steps forward.
Oh my god!
Along his back, several fin-like appendages are tied to a roughly hewn jacket. "Steggs," the woman begins. "Take this one to be cleaned." The large man picks you up and throws you over his shoulder. He starts lumbering over to a shed a few meters away. "And Steggs," the woman calls after him. Steggs stops. "No spikes." Steggs lets out a groan of disapproval, but eventually continues towards the shed with you as his quarry. Continue on page 11.
Okay, I will.
After
I'm
being
so excited right now.
After being stripped down and given some bare rags, Steggs leaves you in a small holding cell of sorts in the shed. You cannot stand all the way up in the cage, but there's at least some padding along the floor of it by way of torn shreds of an old magazine featuring various slugs and other crustaceans depicted in doll-sized houses. You realize that the walls are also lined with cutouts from the magazine, featuring a few centerfolds. The decorations, as they are, must have been cobbled together from dozens of copies of the magazine. Several hours pass before anyone enters the shed again. To your surprise, it's the woman from before. As she enters, she removes the ceremonial headdress, and you recognize her instantly. It's Corey.
Corbor. I was gonna say Corbear, but that didn't rhyme, so it came out as Corbor. I don't know.
Thank you for that stream of consciousness.
It's important. People have to know what I'm thinking.
"Look, there's no time for a family reunion right now. It was tough enough out there not to give away that I knew you," she says before you get a chance to speak. Corey steps towards your cage. "I can give you two options. If you want, I can release the lock and let you escape. I have some supplies I've put together that you can take with you. It'll be a long trip and it will be dangerous, but you might make it out. However, and I mean this, you cannot come back. If you do, you'll be killed on sight. We don't have time for mammals. However, if you choose to stay, things will be tough in a different way. Remember Steggs? Well, he's been in need of a pack partner for a long time. Custom says that if he accepts you, you can stay, but you'll be bonded for life. When Stegg passes, you'll be put in the same burial mound on the same day."
Okay.
So what should you do? If you choose to run, turn to page 12. If you choose to try to stay, turn to page 13.
I'm in love with him.
Yeah, I kind of want to stay with Steggs. Like, I don't even care. We could have a cool romance type friendship, or we could become lovers.
Yeah, is he like 7'4"?
Yeah, just about.
All right.
Nice. Perfect. I'll be like a little snack in his pocket.
You can't really stay, can you? After a few moments of silence, you tell Corey that after thinking about it, you wish to stay, and she unlocks the cage. The two of you embrace and spend a few hours regaling each other of the events of the past 20 years. Corey explains how your parents dragged you into the car on that fateful day as she tried to reach them. She couldn't believe they would just abandon her, but eventually she was able to find other children who were put in similar situations after the quake. The years were tough at first, but they managed to band together and found that following Corey's insight into dinosaur life helped them survive. Soon she led packs of them on hunts to gather food and materials for shelter. They knew nothing of the way the outside world had labeled them, but were managing well enough on their own. As the two of you finish catching up, she hands you a beat-up softball before leading you outside. Just outside the door of the shed, Steggs has busied himself by finding a chain he's currently trying to fashion into a tail of sorts. Corey pushes you towards him, which catches his attention. You hold out the ball and ask if he wants to play. Steggs nods and reveals a crooked smile.
Oh my god, it's so sweet.
Tossing the ball as high as you can into the air, the two of you chase after it into a nearby field. A quaint start to a simple life as a pack. The end.
Yay.
So happy. I'm so happy. All right, we're done. Bye. Thanks for listening. Aww.
We're in love.
We're in love. We're so happy. I don't know. I mean, I need to hold this in my heart as the actual ending, but we can listen to other things. So, do we want to try to escape, or do we want to not fall for the trap in the first place?
Or you guys could go back and not go to the riverbank.
Oh,
Right.
that's true, yeah.
Try to escape.
Yeah, let's just close this loop real quick.
Okay.
Get it over with.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
You have to get back to civilization, back to your life and away from these crazy people. You try to convince Corey to come with you, but she assures you that it will be safer if you go on your own. After a few heated moments that instantly take you back to the days of deciding who has to tell Dad dinner is ready while he's in his reading room, you acquiesce and take the pack she offers.
No. He's like in his baby bonnet. Everything's pastel in there.
The trek back is tough, but after a few days you manage to make it back to one of the pickup sites your team had selected before you originally set out. Within another day, you're safely taken back to your team by one of the patrol groups. As soon as you finish decontamination procedures, you find the rest of your team reading through your diary like parents desperate to reconnect with their child after years of ignoring them.
Hey, don't talk about reading diaries. We've already been here. I can't go back.
However, they only laugh in disbelief at its contents. You
I know, Jane. Did you know that story?
No.
Oh my god.
You spend fruitless hours trying to convince them of the tribe of perfectly normal people you found in the heart of the DMZ, but they instead point to the ample evidence of tracks and claw marks left at various border locations. Distraught, you're eventually dropped from Frapsy and return to an average life, left to wonder what could have been. The
Yeah,
end.
we know it could have been, which is what actually is, which is we're best friends with Six.
Yeah.
All right. So,
A crooked smile, like, oh, this is so cute. I guess we could go not
Not
fall.
Good
not fall
voice.
for the trap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the tricker? It wasn't Sex, was it? I don't want that to be his voice.
Stephanie, can you see this baby snail on a raspberry?
Yeah, I can, and I love it.
I was trying to see if there were any pictures of snails in baby bonnets, but I couldn't find any.
Untapped market.
Don't worry. There will be.
Okay. So this was right after you guys were tempted by the guy calling from the tree.
Really tempted.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a trap, you call out to the tree line. No, it's not, the tree line responds. Well, in any case, you take note of the exchange that just happened and start to walk back to see if the river leads anywhere interesting in the other direction. After a couple of hours, it gets dark and you realize you've made it well past where you had first so unceremoniously crossed the river. Without any gear, you start to worry about how you'll make it through the night. You're starting to feel hungry too as your mind wanders to thoughts of the protein bars in your pockets, but you try to suppress the feeling since you might need them more later. Finding a crevice in a nearby rock formation, you finally manage to catch some sleep. However, when you wake up, you find yourself in the middle of a field. Confused, you check your meager supplies to find 3 empty protein bar wrappers in your back pocket.
Oh my god.
Looking around to see what could have happened, you find ample evidence of the culprit between the wipe stains on your shirt, the still sticky residue between your fingers, and the crumbs around your mouth.
You ate them yourself?
You ate those protein bars.
It's like when Patrick on SpongeBob has that, like he and SpongeBob are running away and they both have one chocolate bar and he eats his immediately. He's like, why'd you take mine?
You ate those protein bars, and it looks like you decided to walk off some of the energy in your sleep to go somewhere else entirely. You do your best to figure out your current location, but after many fruitless attempts to find out just where you've ended up, you decide to go with your gut and head to the east, never to be seen again. The end.
Oh my god, you're psychotic. That's so weird. Alright, so I guess we gotta go to the trees.
No, you guys already went to the trees.
Oh, wait. So it was like a loop or something?
No. So the other option you guys have not done
So go to the forest.
Yeah, go to the forest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
All right.
Remember that Goosebumps cover for like Beast from the East?
I don't remember.
It was real
but I'm
cute.
sure I would if I saw it.
He's like a blue bear looking thing and he's adorable.
No, but that sounds like a tagline for a wrestler.
Looking it up.
I think that's what it's called. I keep derailing, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Da, 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 da. Just feeling.
Oh, yes. He's like a hamster.
He's cute.
Anyway.
Yeah,
All right. So going to the forest now instead of... So the forest was where the smoke plumes were. Mm-hmm. Okay. So as the helicopter gets closer to the smoke plumes in the distance, your radio headset begins to let off some static, alerting you that the pilot is about to speak. He informs you that he will have to drop you off several hundred meters away from the source of the smoke. You start to protest, but hear a static pop alerting you that the pilot has disabled the radio to begin his descent.
Rude.
Within a minute, you're on the ground, but realize that the motor for the blades does not appear to be coming to a stop. You step out of the side onto the ground and look towards the stack of smoke that continues to billow up into the air in thick columns. When you turn back to ask the pilot why he had to drop you off so far away, your only response is your bag being thrown into your chest as the pilot signals for you to back away. Confused, you follow his directions, and he quickly takes off back towards your team's base of operations. Situating the pack, you walk towards the source of the smoke in the distance. As you get closer, you realize there's a section of the crack along the ground where no smoke is being released. Heading towards this cleared section, you find the ground gently slopes towards an opening, as well as evidence of heavy foot traffic from local wildlife. You set down the pack and inch along the slope to get a better look into the chasm, ignoring any protests from the back of your mind. Your foot slides a little as you inch within sight of the chasm below. Luckily, the wind pushes the smoke columns nearby away from the clearing, so you don't have to cover your face, and you're able to find better footing. Peering over the side, you see the path continues into several openings deep under the earth, set like in tunnels within an ant colony. Thinking this might be a good time to grab a picture for your records, you turn to walk back up and get your pack. However, the ground rumbles around you, and you let out a surprisingly shrill scream as you slide down the chasm towards one of the openings. Within a few moments, you are cast into pitch blackness, while the world around you continues to rumble. You manage to find your footing just as the tremors stop. Feeling along the walls, you make your way in the direction you think leads back to the opening. After a few minutes, you see a small patch of light and feel relieved. Heading towards it, you're disappointed to find it's due to a shaft of light pouring in from a gap in the ceiling well above any height you could hope to reach. Checking your options, you see there are two main pathways available, one deviating to the left and one to the right. As you try to decide which option you should take, you find a small clothing label on the ground with the name Michael written on it, as well as some crude lawn furniture and old soda cans with faded labels. Assuming someone must have dumped their trash from above, you leave the items where they've fallen and find nothing else of note.
Wait, whoa. Is this from your first story?
Maybe.
Michael?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was his name.
Do you think that it's weird that it's called Frapsy and that's what your company is called or whatever?
No.
How?
I don't think it's weird.
I don't think it's weird at all.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Oh, does that mean we're gonna get to be sexy snake people?
Ooh, smooth.
Oh, can't wait to be so smooth.
So what should you do? Should you take the right path or the left path? This is such a well-informed decision that couldn't possibly have any terrible ramifications. If you decide to go to the right path, turn to page 6. If you decide to go to the left path, turn to page 7.
Man, I don't know. I just want to go be a snake.
Which way to smoothness?
Yeah, which way is smoother?
You guys have to work this out.
I don't know. Is right, Megan?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right is right. Let's go right.
Feeling Feeling a little timid about leaving the one source of light you can find at the moment, you hesitate for a few minutes before finally heading down the path on the right side of the cavern.
Just imagining, like, when you hesitate, you kind of, like for a few minutes. Like, what I'm doing is,
Yeah.
like, how do you describe it?
Well, it's like when you have, like, little tremors.
Oh, not a tremor. It's just like you just kind of
Like a
pull,
like a bird motion. Looking around.
Like you look like you're about to do something.
Yeah, but you don't.
Freeze frame. Red light.
Yeah.
All right. Within 100 feet, you have reverted back to keeping a hand along the wall as you carefully move forward step by step, determined to find your way out. Left to your own devices, though, your mind wanders to thoughts of what could be lurking in the darkness. Thinking back, you remember a time as a child when you woke up in a panic and tried to wake your own parents. As your mom sat up, she had a throw pillow with a crude face drawn on it and makeup in place of her head. Everything else seemed normal about her, but she didn't say anything and only continued to stare at you with the unmoving expression covering the pale patterned visage.
Oh my God, what?
Letting out a scream, you woke up again and walked into your parents' room to find both of them sitting up as you entered.
I don't like it.
This time, they both had pillows for heads and said nothing.
Ew.
When you actually woke up the next time, you stayed awake in your room for hours until it was time for school.
What is wrong with you?
That was a dream I had when I was really little.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Ew. Oh my God, are you okay?
I mean,
I feel like I need to, like, wrap you in a blanket and tell you it's okay. It's terrifying.
Is that why you have all those facial twitches?
yeah, that's why.
Yeah, he has to keep moving his face so that he knows that it's not a pillow.
Fighting the repressed nightmares back, you busy yourself by cataloging what awaits in the pack once you find it. Let's see. There's food rations, the survival blanket, the hand warmers, the thermal underwear, the eye mask, the rubber ducky. Boy, you sure are sleepy, though. In the dark, you realize that while you can't be sure that your surroundings are safe, you also can't be sure they aren't safe either.
Good logic?
Your eyelids grow heavy, and a few moments later, you collapse into a deep sleep along the cavern floor. At least you know there aren't any pillows nearby. Sweet dreams. The end.
Just fell asleep. All right, left. Left is right. I think in this case, you know.
Yeah, this wasn't a very smooth way.
Yeah, I feel rocked, right? Because it's not smooth; it's rocky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
You decide to take the path to the left. After all, left is right and right is wrong, right?
Shut up! Are you serious?
Did you really make your decision based off of what ear it appears? Anyway,
What?
that's what's written. I'm reading. Well, you've never heard that?
Oh yeah. I was trying to figure out what you said because I thought you said year, and I was like, what? So when like we were in middle school, and if you got your ear pierced on the wrong side,
Yeah.
no.
You know what that means.
Everybody knows what it means. It means you're cool, and you got an earring, and you can wear a feather in it, and everybody will be jealous of it.
Right.
George Michael looks so cool with his little cross earring.
I was thinking about George Michael. Why is that?
This has the best looking earring around.
Yeah, that little cross is a good choice.
I didn't realize he was known for his earring.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
I thought he was known for, like, one, the 5 o'clock constant shadow,
Perfect shadow.
Looking
and
great.
2, showing his penis to a police officer.
Well, was
What?
a police officer into it?
Was that the
Well,
bathroom
like-
time?
Yeah,
Oh.
which was kind of entrapment.
Oh, I mean, you're gonna have your dick out in the bathroom. Just
No,
saying.
but like he said that his story is he claimed that the cop was like, if you show me mine, I'll show you.
well,
Or
then
sorry, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. If you
show me my
mine,
own dick. I'll look at it. That's rude.
Yeah.
He's so handsome. Who would arrest him?
Yeah, like you should be happy that you got to see George Michael's penis.
Yeah.
Because I mean, ladies sure don't.
Oh, I forgot he was dead.
Well, because he was gay, not because
What?
he's dead.
Whoa, what?
No.
Because he was gay, he's dead.
No, I said not because he was
Oh.
dead.
That's Stephanie's views.
He's gay. He's dead to me. He's not a viable candidate.
He hasn't been a viable candidate for a long time.
Going left.
Yes.
Lefty Lucy, don't put that gay stuff in the podcast.
I'm going to put all the gay stuff in there. Feeling along the walls of the cavern, you wander down the path for what feels like hours. The air begins to feel damp as the temperature rises noticeably. Despite being unable to see a few inches in front of your face, you can tell by your labored breathing that some of the smoke must divert through the path you're currently taking. As you debate going back to the light shaft in the previous area, you start to notice a faint green light ahead. Surprisingly, just being able to use your eyes again gives you some sense of relief, even if it is an unnatural color. As the light grows brighter, you find yourself in an open room with smooth walls. Giving your eyes a few moments to adjust, you realize that the source of the light is coming from the ground. In a pit in the center of the room, various large bones sit half buried, each of them giving off an iridescent glow. Walking towards them, you find a smaller bone and grab it to use as a light source to continue along the cavern. However, as soon as you grab what you assumed was a dinosaur bone, a sharp pain shoots down your arm. You want to let go of the bone itself, but your hand has a death grip on it, as if your muscles are being pumped with electricity. Within moments, you begin to lose consciousness and collapse to the ground. Sometime later, you wake up to find the room to be much brighter than it was before, but at least you're no longer in pain. Getting up, you pace around for a minute and check the cavern path you came in from. To your surprise, the path seems much brighter now. As you squint and bring up your hands to wipe your eyes, 2 sets of claws approach your face. You fall back to the ground in panic as you realize the claws are from your own hands.
Yeah, cool.
With no reflective surface to see what has happened, you are left to take in the horror of your transformation piece by piece. The claws, the scaled skin, the razor-sharp teeth, the tail, the 6-pack abs. You've become one of the dino hybrids. You try to let out a scream, but a terrible roar echoes through the cavern instead. The end.
Red.
Ooh, smooth.
So, but you're alone. You don't have Stegs there.
Yeah,
You
we're
do not have
sick.
Stegs there.
I want him.
Yeah.
And that was my story.
Wow, I like that it's in the same universe.
Hooray.
Man.
That last one reminded me of in Jurassic Park, like when that kid touches the electric fence and it's
Yeah.
it just looks so hilarious when he's like blown
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
He should have just climbed faster. Come on, little weak kid. Let's go.
Well, plus
Yeah.
there's no reason for him to have been blown off.
Yeah.
He would have just held
Just
on with the
been
death
cooked.
grip and cooked. Like his torso might have fallen as his arms were like melted off.
But at least he'd be fine,
Yeah,
right?
he'd be fine.
He'd have a cool, like, white streak in his hair. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Then call him Sparky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stories.
That was an amazing story. Thanks. I liked it. And
Glad you enjoyed it.
I like Stags. And I really want to draw him, and I really want to draw baby snails at home. So, Megan, which do you want to be?
I want to be a baby snail at home with my
right,
little baby
easy.
bonnet on.
I desperately wanted to be Stags, so it's fine. I'll put you in a little dollhouse, and I'll be
Oh
like,
my god. I need help eating the popsicle.
oh, I'll help
Remember.
you. Yeah.
Put a giant arm helping me out there.
All right. Oh, man.
So wait, is she going to be like riding on your shoulder?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
We'll see where the spirit of creativity moves me.
You guys managed to get the good ending the first time again.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're so good at that. Aw, Stags. He's so happy. You guys are together forever.
Well, except it's kind of, I mean, when he dies, they're
It's
gonna-
fine. You wouldn't want to live without him.
No.
Well, I was just thinking about how they used to do that with pharaohs and
Yeah.
stuff, and how horrifying that must have been.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
It's like, well, the guy that you've been a slave for your entire life died, and he needs someone to take care of him in the afterlife that might be there.
Ugh.
So,
Get to it.
get to dying.
Do you need a minute or?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I would assume that they would just send people to like kill them, because I imagine most of them would try to run away as soon as they found out the pharaoh died.
Yeah, probably I would. Would I?
Well, there's
Or would
always
I embrace death?
there's always going to be like that tryhard that's like, I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I wanted this.
Yeah. So in any case, if you would like to leave us comments about my, writing style or anything like that.
Or what
Snails.
kind of little bonnet you would have as a baby snail.
Yeah.
What kind of pattern shell you would have.
You can email us at strangepathspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. Or you can tweet at us all the pictures of baby snails that you want to at StrangePathPod on Twitter.
Or you can write to me or send me all your nude snail pics at bozosglowglobes@gmail.
Is a nude snail just a slug?
No.
If you have trouble with
Snails
that,
aren't slugs, right?
you can always send
so.
me in snail trails.
Ew, no. Why?
Send me your snail trail pics.
Please.
And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.